Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Terry Morrow and I'm here with Catherine Halecko. Say hi, Catherine.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Catherine and I like to get together and discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. This week, we're watching a long-awaited, by me, episode of The West Wing and 3 season-ending episodes of One Day at a Time. But first, Dancing with the Stars is back. Last night, we watched the first episode of Dancing with the Stars Athletes, a little mini season of only 4 weeks, in which all the contestants are, wait for it, athletes. So we have Olympic figure skaters, we have former disgraced Olympic figure skater, we have basketball, we have football, baseball, luge.
That's right.
And other,
lots of Winter Olympians.
What did I miss? Lots of winter. Yeah, we had a snowboarder and a softball player. So, interesting idea.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4 weeks is a little weird. I guess they had to carve out a little time out of American Idol. But it did mean that 2 people had to go home on the first night based on live voting, which I've always felt they should have live voting. I think it's stupid not to have live voting and that you're always voting for who's going to go home next week, and then next week you watch and the person who goes home doesn't seem to correspond with who did well that night.
Because the votes have already been cast before.
Exactly. But yeah. But the problem, of course, is that you have time zones, and unless you're going to, air it real early in California, people can't all be voting and have a winner at the end of or loser at the end of the night. So this time, half the country was voting based on what they were seeing, and half were just voting for who they liked, I guess.
If they figured that out or heard Sharna ask them to.
That's right. Yes, Sharna made it clear that you can just go ahead and vote for us. You don't have to actually watch us dance.
Although, they were impressive.
Oh my goodness. I was so relieved. They were the last ones of the night, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is just going to be a rout by figure skaters.
And it was, her partner is a football player, and he was really good.
And I'm like, the football player's got game. Yes.
He was quite good.
Finally. I liked him quite a bit. So he's getting ahead of things. He's my rooting interest. He and the loser. I liked him quite a bit too. And they were greatly disadvantaged by going first. Mm-hmm. And I'm afraid that people are going to forget him when they're voting. So I gave him and Team Move It or Lose It and Team, what is it? Back that pass up.
Yeah, I enjoyed those 2 quite a bit. And, Adam was good. Figure skater Adam.
Yeah,
and figure skater Mariah.
I am
both good. I mean, I know you think they have a...
Well, especially in a 4-week season, they have an unfair advantage. Because they're used to performing, and they're used to being judged, and they're, they have some dance component to their... I mean, that other than pointing his toes, luge guy doesn't have. So, over the course of 10 weeks, we can really get to know people and stuff, and people who aren't such good dancers can sort of get by on their personality and improve. Without that, it's really unfair. It's like, I don't like it. And I like Alan a whole lot. Jenna, I don't really know anything about, but I don't want them to win a mirror ball. It's too soon. They haven't paid any dues, and Sharna has not won a mirror ball yet. So that doesn't seem right. I don't know why they got the ringers, unless it was to give the ringers a little bit of a handicap. I don't know.
Could be.
Because they don't have quite as much built-in fan base. As a parent, what do we attribute Kareem's carrying over to the second week to? Because I thought, well, he's one... Yeah, I felt going in like, if Lindsay can find something fun to do with him, I will vote for them. Because she got a big challenge, and she's very clever. But what they did was sort of like what you do when, there's really nothing you can do with this person. So we're going to just throw the troop around him and just get through our minute and a half and send him off with lovely parting gifts. Right. And then he didn't go home. So
I think it just has to be, his status as a...
I guess he has more of a following than Johnny Damon, basically, for the two.
Right.
They were sort of in the same category, I think.
I thought that the college softball player was really cute.
College basketball player, right?
Basketball, yeah. The
softball player, but she's...
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt that way about her too. But yes, the college girl was very good. And she's doing this at the same time as she's taking classes.
Right.
Which I had noticed she was sort of underrepresented in all the pre-show hype. All the she wasn't as much in the videos and all the little things they were doing. Right. And I wondered what was up with that. And clearly it's that she's going to class.
Yeah.
So, good for her. Mm-hmm. I'm very happy that she got a second week. There's a lot of people that I'm very happy they got a second week. And from there, I really don't care. So I just didn't want them to go home the first week, mm-hmm, and mm-hmm. she was one of them. It's like, I'm proud of her. And that was, I thought she did it good. I thought she was very cute. I completely sympathized with her lack of desire to wear heels.
Yeah.
Although I believe there are high-heeled sneakers, but even so, I thought she was great. I liked the dress she was wearing. And
if you're going to wear high-heeled sneakers, just wear regular high heels because they'll be
right.
so ugly and they won't.
That's true.
Give you
but they'd be a little more solid on your feet than some of those things they wear. I felt bad that the blandish blonde softball player and the blandish blonde snowboarder went back to back.
Yes.
In their sports, they are fierce. I mean no disrespect. Certainly, snowboarding is not a bland thing, and neither is softball. But they kind of are. They kind of fill the same niche,
right?
And so,
Jamie, especially the snowboarder, was terrified, and showed. So,
and I thought really underscored. The thing is that they set the thank you for playing bar at 6 with Kareem.
Mm-hmm.
And then a whole bunch of other people got 6s who were not at that level.
Better. Right.
So it just seemed unfair. And I wonder if that had something to do with who went home and who didn't, just because it was too low. A lot of them had scores that were too low. It just seemed really unfair to me. And I thought she did perfectly fine for the first time and for being scared and for this not being her thing. You got a lot of people who clearly have no dance experience. Mm-hmm. And their pros were clearly coaching them all the way through. And they were working really, really hard.
Right.
And they deserved, I think, a little more respect than maybe they got. I mean, the judges were nice, but some of the scores were too low.
Yeah. I also really did not care for the dress they put on Jamie, snowboarder.
No,
it was not
that was
nice
unfair. Also, no, it was not. No, that was too bad. So I thought an unfortunate experience for her. Though one wonders whether she's upset or thank God.
Right.
Could go
I'm off the hook. Yes.
Not for me. At least it happens quickly.
Yes. Mercifully short.
But of the clearly not dancers, but giving it their best, I thought Chris was the best of those. Mm-hmm. So, and he and Whitney seem to have a cute chemistry between them.
And he is adorable.
I think he could. Yes, and I think he's working hard, and I think he could get better. Whether he'll get better fast enough for a 4-week season, I don't know.
Right. Yes.
But, they keep saying, this is the most competitive season ever. And I'm like, it's ice skaters and everybody else. Mm-hmm. This does not make it the most competitive season everywhere. And then football guy came out. Yes, Josh, go, go, go. I don't know if he was even that good, but he was just, he had a lot of style, you know?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. It's hard to get me. Like, I like watching the show, absolutely. But there's a lot of times when I drift. And I did not drift during his.
Yeah, no. That I would love for Sharna to finally win.
Yeah.
So, I'm team not a figure skater, basically, at this point.
Okay, fine.
And I guess we need to talk about Tanya.
Yes. Well, first of all, Tanya is my age. And
is she?
She's obviously lived a much rougher life than I have, but
yes.
I mean, yeah. I think it shows. So.
Yeah. The only chance for me to like tolerate her being there was if she had come on with but let's not talk about that. Let's look forward. Let's do this and do that. And she was just so, oh, poor me. Did you hear about these terrible things that happened to me? Everybody has heard about them, Tanya. You just had a movie about it. And so that just really rang, maybe a little more therapy, honey.
Yeah, there was a lot of poor me.
Yes. Yeah, so right out of the gate. Mm-hmm. And then they do their dance and there's roses and everybody's talking about how wonderful she is. And I'm just like, no. But Allison Janney did show up.
Yes,
God bless her.
Looking
beautiful. And she brought, I'm interpreting the little girl, the little actress she brought with her, I guess played young Tanya.
Correct, yes.
As her way of saying, if I have to do this ridiculous thing, I'm going to get the kids some camera time.
Dragging the kids along.
So, yes. I was really thinking she wasn't there because all through, did she maybe film it at another time? I just spliced it in because she wasn't there. They never showed her in the crowd. They were showing all these different people. I don't think they showed her at all until that moment. So maybe she snuck in the back.
Called her.
Yes, she was kicking in the back in a lounge somewhere with interesting people, and then they said, "Okay, go sit in your seat for 5 seconds, so we can
wave at you." Well, and rewinding all the way to the beginning, they really took it to the next level by bringing out every single person with a diamond encrusted prop from their sport.
Yes.
You got the diamond-covered snowboard and the diamond-covered basketball and the
diamond-covered luge helmet.
Yes. Like, wow.
That probably would not protect you well from collision.
Some serious work with the crystal, with the hot glue.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the luge eye view there that they had in his little profile?
Yes.
The camera?
That's where we were, Lake Placid.
It's fairly terrifying.
Lake Placid.
Yeah.
That was where we did that.
Yeah.
In fact, where we saw Chris
There
training.
you go.
I somewhere have like a 5-second video of him coming down the course. So.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, he seems to have a pretty enjoyable personality. Yeah. So I think both he and I liked it when I guess there was a video of Josh and Sharna, and she was saying, "What do you want to get out of this?" And he said he wanted to get some publicity for his charity. So okay, I'll give you the thumbs up on that. Yes. So he made a good impression. So those are at this point, those are my two rooting interests, Chris and Josh, and I would like them to go 1-2.
All right.
Well, and a figure skater can take bronze again.
Ooh, burn. I did appreciate when Adam said, the only reason I have a bronze medal is because of Mirai, because that is 100% true. It's true. She carried that whole U.S. team. So I'm glad he acknowledged that. So.
Yeah. I am just over them. But
that's all right.
They could go have their own Dancing with the Stars where it's all figure skaters and gymnasts. But get the hardworking people who are out of their element a chance to shine, please. I go back and forth and see. If I like people well enough, I don't care if they're a ringer. I didn't care that Jordan was a ringer last season or that Lori was a ringer. Yeah. But sometimes I do. So this is one of those years I choose to care.
Okay, well, we'll stay tuned.
It's only 4 weeks.
See what happens.
It's only 4
next
weeks. Come on. Yes, we will. We interrupt this podcast to remind you to please consider the free Radio Public app for all your Parenting Roundabout listening needs. If you listen to our podcast on the app, we'll get paid a little for each listen and more if you listen a lot.
It's a great way to financially support our podcast without having to actually spend, money.
Now, back to the episode. Well, speaking of dancing, there was quite a bit of it in at least the first episode that we watched of One Day at a Time for this week, called Homecoming. We also watched Citizen Lydia and the Tear-jerky season 2 finale. Not yet. It did not jerk my personal tears, but we will talk about
it
that
didn't?
in a bit.
Oh my
it
gosh.
I am hard of heart, Catherine. Have you not learned this about me? Something that, I don't know if I ever liked that kind of gigantic exposition drop. One person at a time does their monologue sitcom episode. If I liked that in the past, I do not like it now.
Yeah, I don't really like it either, but I do have a heart, and I was bawling.
Did you really think that she was going to die?
No, I
didn't. The point at which she says "not yet," and the studio audience burst into applause. Oh, come on!
No, I did not think she was going to die, but just all of the heartfelt speeches. I mean, that's just I couldn't
if it had
help
been one heartfelt speech, I'd have been good. If it had been the grandson doing the nails and kind of joking with her and stuff, and one heartfelt speech, that would have been good. But heartfelt speech, heartfelt speech, heartfelt speech. Oh my gosh.
It was a lot.
We get it. Everybody loves her. It's just the repetitive nature and the way it was done, where it was like one person walks in, does their thing. The next person walks in, does their thing. It lost me after a time or two. So that by the time you got to the one at the end with Penelope, which should have been the one, it was just kind of like, okay, yeah, we get you. I don't know. It's just not, it's as we've talked about with this show. I like the funny ones, not so much with the issue ones, not so much with the emotion ones. Most of them, the ones that have a balance, I'm fine with.
Yeah.
If everybody's speech was funny, and then Penelope's was emotional, that'd have been fine. But I don't know.
Well, and then in the previous ones, there was this whole thing with Penelope and Max where I
was really disappointed that he didn't come to the hospital. I thought that would be, whether they got them back together or not, that at least he would be there supporting her. I was disappointed. It's like, once they're done with the boyfriend here,
I know, and that is what annoys me so much about TV. Like, why can they never have a relationship? Like,
yeah. I'm thinking now, couldn't she call that guy that she dated a little bit in the first season? I don't know, it was the first season. She dated a little bit, and then she dumped him because her husband was back, but then that didn't work out quickly. I think he had kids from another marriage. Could she give him a call back? Because the baby thing would not be an issue. He was nice. I liked him. I liked Max too. But, there's no way in that scenario, if they were in love, that he would not show up if her mother was in the hospital. So
I know it's like they're trying to
an emotional monologue.
It's like they're trying to save money on actors, but
maybe so. I don't know. At least, he could have texted her. He could have called her on the phone. They didn't need to pay the actor.
I know, and it's just so common, like the way that somebody gets a 6-episode run or whatever, and then they always have to disappear. Like, why not? Why? Like,
yeah, I don't like that. I was sad in this point because they made such a big deal about Max, and I really liked him, and now he's just going to be dispatched that one. But
don't
ever
the other guy. Too attached.
Look in your phone
because
I guess not. I don't know. I guess it just didn't work for me, and I feel bad because I know it worked for a lot of people. I heard a lot at the time when it dropped about, people were very affected by it. I know my daughter was, and it's just the kind of sitcom episode, I guess, that doesn't work for me. I could have used more laughs. There was some. There was like a little bit of laugh, and then there was just, I really don't care about Schneider's backstory. I'm really sorry. He seems like a nice guy, but I like his backstory funny, not, I dealt with this incredible rejection with drugs and alcohol. It's not, well, yeah, of course you did, but
we don't care. We'd rather see Max.
And Elena and why she stopped speaking Spanish. I like the little boys best.
Yes,
doing her nails.
Very cute.
And I guess I have to stop calling him a little boy because he's supposed to be like a heartthrob now, but I knew him.
Yes.
Anyways, the Homecoming one was fine. I'm not a big fan of like misunderstanding humor. So the whole I'm pretending to have friends stuff, but they got over it pretty quick. I really like the actress who plays her girlfriend. I like that performance. I would say of comical, we didn't start the fire parodies, Leslie Knope on Parks and Rec is still the winner. But this one was pretty cute. This one meant to charm, the other one meant to annoy. On the side of annoying. But that was fine. And it was nice to see Georgia Engel as the little nun. Still here.
Scaring people as a nun. I mean, not that that's what I'm just...
And Georgia Engel is still here, too. That's a good thing. So, nice to see her. Many fond memories of her past work.
Yes.
And then the one about whether or not to have a baby. Was that was the gist of this? Oh, no, the citizenship thing was the gist of the second one.
But that also had the baby.
The baby
thing
was a subplot. Yeah. And, okay.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was funny. I don't know how Schneider passed the test since the woman seemed to be so down on him, but I guess it's not really that. Is that really how you take a citizenship test? You have to go in and have an interview with somebody that way? I assumed it was like the DMV where you just like did a written test.
Yeah.
And, well, I guess you have to get in the car.
That's a good question.
So maybe that's it.
No.
I didn't realize it was an oral exam. But
we're all lucky. We don't have to. Those of us who don't have to take it are pretty lucky.
My kids got their citizenship when they were young, but they were our kids, so they wouldn't have had to take a test anyway, probably. But they have their citizenship certificates. There were citizenship certificates signed by Bill Clinton in our lockbox. Their little tiny baby pictures on them. They were so cute.
Oh.
Yeah, anyway, so that was an enjoyable season of One Day at a Time. I liked it. It's certainly something I enjoy watching the episodes, and I will tune in for. I trust that we can get away with the huge emotional exposition drop episodes once a season, and that's okay.
Right. Not all the time, please.
Yes. I do sort of enjoy the support group thing. I guess that's something that they're going to be doing from time to time. That's sort of funny. And hello, Mackenzie Phillips.
Yeah.
Getting your little One Day at a Time cameos in there.
Right.
Good for you, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. So we will wait a year or something, and then we'll watch.
All I've heard is sometime in 2019 there will be a season 3.
Right.
I also wanted to mention that I was very happy and relieved to see the Doctor back in these 3 episodes, because we didn't talk about it last week, but he wasn't in those 2, and I do not approve.
And we can't have that.
We can't have that. Doesn't have to be a lot of him. No. Just a sprinkling. But,
Yes.
Can't say he adds a little spice because he's incredibly bland, but he,
right.
He's like that dollop of sour cream on top of the spicy dish. So, I enjoy him.
Yes.
Anyway, well, moving along, we also finally watched the West Wing episode that I've been saying all season. You know, there's one episode this season I really like. We finally got to it, surprisingly to us, because we assumed that West Wing Weekly going overseas, they were going to drop those European episodes after they got back. But no, indeed, they are dropping them right along. So we had planned to talk about Trophy Wife in this episode, but then we had Dancing with the Stars and we had the West Wing, and so we're just going to put that off for next week.
Right.
But very, very happy to finally get to Evidence of Things Not Seen. As I mentioned, I probably oversold it. It's a small episode, but it's the kind I enjoy, which is, poker night at the White House.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was the poker night and just kind of all the relationships between all the people, which they talked about a lot on the podcast. The part where the president says, "Where's Charlie?" Because as soon as he finds out, he's going to bust in here, and then cue the door slamming open, and there he is. I may have watched
that scene on YouTube a few times. It is, and then Fitterer doing the same.
Right.
And the poker is fun, and especially since Josh Molina is a big poker guy when he sits down and does the fancy shuffling. That's very fun. And the whole thing about standing an egg on the end and CJ being so certain that she saw it, and lots of little fun bits of dialogue. that was fun. And then the whole bit with this finally the episode that Matthew Perry was on. He's on 2 more after this, but I finally introduced him, and I liked it. It's sort of one of those where you say, gee, it would be fun to hang out with those people.
Right. But it would be less fun to be shot at multiple times.
That is true. Yes. And then you had that funny thing where they're going to throw the cards, and then all of a sudden, it's a completely different thing.
Hitting the ground.
Hitting the ground. I thought my reflexes back there were cat-like, says CJ. That was fun.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I didn't think you oversold it. I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed the podcast. It's always a little iffy when you have the live podcast because obviously you can't see what they're doing.
Right, right. It was weird at the beginning of the podcast. And it sounded like Harishi was in the studio and Josh was like on a stage with no microphone because he was yelling and talking and playing to the crowd. But it was fine. The questioners at the end seemed sort of suspiciously well-spoken and lengthy. I wonder how many questions they actually took and how much they edited them down.
And all of the guys who spoke sounded like Chris O'Dowd to me.
Yeah, they did.
Specifically, not just because they had an Irish accent, but I really felt like they sounded like him.
They totally did. I agree. So, Marlee Matlin was there for no particular reason because she's not in this episode, but always fine to have her. I guess she was in town. They said, stop on by this live thing we're doing. And Richard Schiff sounded like he had quite a bit of Guinness before he popped by.
He definitely did.
He was in a fine mood. A little slurry, but... So that was fun also, in the same spirit of just hanging out with these people and hearing what they have to say.
Right. For sure.
We should mention also in this episode, we did somewhat get Zoe's explanation for WTF with the stupid French boyfriend girl. That he's just not involved in anything having to do with... Politics, the presidency, her dad, and that even Charlie can see how that might be appealing. So, still
annoying.
Not. you can find better uninvolved guys. Really, honestly, Zoe, please. I think you can do better. But
at least in this episode, they just talked about him. He wasn't actually there.
Poor. Yeah,
Trent Ford.
He's coming back though. We haven't seen the last of him. I am sorry to tell you.
Fine, I'll deal.
Spoiler. Yeah. The extremely annoying character is not completely gone. Well, the season gets less fun from here. The next one we're going to watch for next week is not too bad, and after that, I may just hide under a table until we get to second or third, even actually maybe till we get to season 6.
One whole season.
There's a really good episode in season 5 called The Supremes. I wonder how far that's in. I'll come back for that one because that's fun. It has Glenn Close in it. But we're, as they talked about a little bit on the podcast, Aaron Sorkin left after the end of this season. And so it took a while for the new folks to get their feet under them for a variety of reasons. And so this was the last one I was really excited to watch. The next one is okay. And then after that...
Plot twist.
Yes. It just... Sorkin didn't do any favors to the people following him, let's just say.
He kind of left it a mess for them to clean up, huh?
He kind of salted the ground a little bit. So, less said the better, I guess. But, eek. Anyway, so, anything else we wanted to say about this very charming little episode of West Wing?
I don't think so.
All right. Then we will say that for next week, we will once again be watching Dancing with the Stars. And we will watch episodes 6 and 7 of Trophy Wife. We promise this time we really will. We're not just making it up. We'll be watching Halloween and The Date. And we will watch the West Wing episode Life on Mars, along with the West Wing Weekly podcast episode, which I think is from London this time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
That sounds right.
Somewhere in Europe.
Okay.
And we will be continuing to podcast from our desks here in the good old US of A.
Right.
That's going to be it for round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes, including our daily speed rounds and weekly group chats. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Goodbye, Catherine.
Bye, Terry.
Goodbye, everybody.